you for dough. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is to pass for right. You're done, but the time is hit you. You're not surprised.
A lot of developers, they don't get it. I think they build this infrastructure around gameplay, game modes, or world building, etc., etc. I think, and then they kind of like sort of nestle in player mechanics late. I think player mechanics have to be approached it's got to be the very first thing. Very first thing.
The past 20 years for Sonic fans has been horrible. It's been terrible. It's been a whole bunch of misery, a whole bunch of pain, a whole bunch of turmoil. Luckily, we got some people working on something that we as Sonic fans can point to and be like, there it is. There's the game that we can be proud of. Made by the developer Hero. And I don't know if Hero is working with other people or if he's by himself. It seems like he's by himself. But he's done a lot of great stuff for the Sonic franchise, for us fans. Thank you so much, Hero, for making the game. I appreciate it. I wanted to talk about Project Sonic today so that way you, as a viewer, can look at what Sonic can potentially be and what it currently is, even though it's in development, of course. So, one of the main issues of the Sonic series, of the Sonic franchise, has been a lack of a mastery of the 2D mechanics and the 3D space, right? Like, if you think of Final Fantasy, it was a pretty easy transition from Final Fantasy VI to Final Fantasy VII when it came to the combat mechanics and even some of the storytelling elements. With Sonic, it has been just an absolute nightmare. They have not been able to figure out how to replicate and duplicate what made Sonic so popular in the 80s and the 90s in the 2000s, 2010s, and almost the 2020s, to be honest with you. They've been scoring around for the past 20 years. I don't know what Sega and Sonic Team are doing. But Hero has figured out a way to really master those same mechanics that made Sonic popular in the 2D space. He's mastered all of the nuances of Sonic, and not only Sonic, but also you gotta bring up Tails and Knuckles. Tails and Knuckles, they have their own mechanics of traversing their own landscapes, of the same landscape that Sonic has. Sonic moves faster, obviously, than Tails and Knuckles, as far as I know, but Tails and Knuckles, they have different ways of negotiating that same terrain. Tails can fly, Knuckles can glide. Tails, if you time his bombs right, because Tails has bombs, he can actually use the bombs to jump higher and to go higher than he would if he just tried to fly. And then he can also fly faster, and then he can also fly even though the green circle is out of flight. Like, there's a lot of different ways that the two characters, Knuckles and Tails, they differ from Sonic. And then Sonic, I don't know if all of them will have their super forms, but Sonic has the supersonic form as well. And all of them, as far as I know, Knuckles and Sonic, but I guess Tails also can ride hoverboards. I don't really know how that will play into the gameplay, but it's something that adds to the gameplay. It may not necessarily be something great, but it just adds to the gameplay. And the game looks like a blend of the 2D space in the 80s and the 90s and the 3D space that you saw in some really, really cool games like Sonic Unleashed. And they've combined, and Hero has learned how to combine and funnel what made the 2D space really, really great and the best components of the 3D space. And here we have Project Sonic. Hero has done an immaculate job at mastering the player mechanics, at giving us the tools to be able to have fun as Sonic fans and as players, and I'm really, really happy that he did such a great job on this game. But here's the thing. Here's the thing with Project Sonic. And this is really the only negative, bad thing that really sticks out to me with Project Sonic. It's unfinished. And by unfinished, I mean the majority of the game isn't built yet currently. And what that means is that a lot of the gameplay that you've seen today is of the test stages, of stages and levels that are pretty much only shown or built, excuse me, to show off the mechanics of the game. It really isn't supposed to be like, all right, this is what the mechanics, or not the mechanics, excuse me, this is what the stages, the final stages are going to look like. It's just supposed to be tidbits here and there, some nuggets here and there to show you how the game works, how the game runs. It looks and runs really, really great, but we don't really know how the levels are going to be when the game is released, or even when the game is in alpha or beta. I don't know the guy's development. I don't know Hero's development cycle, but it looks really, really good. And even though a lot of the game is unfinished, I still love what I've seen from the game, and a lot of people also love what they've seen from the game as well. It just looks a little bit unfinished. And the main reason why I really wanted to take a look at this game and share this game with you is because I've been kind of burnt out by the whole Sonic experience for the past couple of years. I said this in my recent video that I did on the Sonic movie, that Sonic is one of my favorite video game characters of all time. Everyone has their favorites. Sonic is one of mine, and you know, I really have been avoiding Sonic games like the Black Plague. I have just avoided him entirely because of just how bad the games have been. But I mean, my goodness, it has not been a good 4 to 5 years if you're a Sonic fan. And this game looks to turn that whole thing around with Project Sonic by Hero. But there's also some more Sonic games that I'm going to leave in the description down below if you're interested in other Sonic games. They don't, to me, they don't look as great as a combination of the 2D and the 3D mechanics of Project Sonic, but they have some pretty unique and cool stuff in the games as well. So that's it. If you liked the video, hey, give it a like. If you like my channel, if you like what you saw today, I got a lot more coming. Why don't you subscribe to the channel? Make that choice today as well. But until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.